If I was just starting out in landscape photography and I could give myself some free advice, it would be to slow down, be patient, look for compositions that tell a story, and most of all, use the available light to captivate the viewer. In today's video, I visit 3 separate locations and attempt to do just that. Good morning everyone, welcome to this week's video. This is the location I wanted to come to for some years and I'm glad I finally got here this morning. Only problem is I'm right beside a main road, so there's going to be a bit of traffic noise. My subject this morning is 2 beautiful lone trees on a hill just outside a location where I normally come on holidays. I thought it'd be nice to come out here and shoot this morning. I've arrived in the pre-dawn light as I always do, and I've set up my composition. My only problem is I've got a little bit of cloud right off the east where the sun's rising, and I think it's going to block out a bit of the colour, but I'm going to try some combinations of the telephoto and the wide angle lens this morning and see if I can grab some shots of this beautiful lone tree. I just love the way these 2 old trees just sit on the top of this bald hill. My first composition this morning, I've got this old gum tree off to my left hand side of the frame, and then I've got the 2 old trees right out on the distance hill there. I've got a really nice spider's web and the old fence here in the foreground, which I'm hoping will work really well. Nothing more to do now, just wait for a little bit more light. Sun's just rising across the horizon there down to the east, hoping that a lot of this grey cloud that's above the hillside at the moment starts to pick up some of that beautiful pink light. The interesting thing is when you actually zoom right in on the 2 big trees, the larger tree of the 2 has a child swing hanging down underneath it. And it really does make you wonder about the history of these trees that we see sitting off in the distance. So many times we see subjects like this and they give us a sense of wonder or a sense of what if and what's actually the history behind it. And this is one tree that I've always really wanted to photograph, so I'm glad I got here this morning. We've just got a little bit of colour sneaking through on the horizon. I'm just going to wait now and see once the sun gets above that cloud band, see if we can get some light across the field. Yeah, but some nice colour in the distance there, so pretty happy with how things are going at the moment, but quite difficult being beside this major road here. Yeah, it's really making it difficult to do any vlogging this morning, but nonetheless it's fantastic to be out. We're just getting some nice soft pastel hues starting to appear across the horizon at the moment, so I'm just taking a number of shots. So nice pastel lines behind the actual tree itself. We're just going to wait now and see if we get some illumination of cloud once the sun rises up above the cloud line there. The traffic's definitely getting a lot busier as we come towards the latter part of the morning, and we've got a little bit of light on the horizon at the moment, but still the field's not illuminated. It's just a waiting game, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run. If the sun gets up high enough, we get some nice rays across the paddock. We just need a little bit of light to light up the foreground and where the trees are here to illuminate a little bit more. It'll certainly make a big difference to this. My patience was rewarded with some stunning light across the fields, providing atmosphere to the entire scene. It's amazing how 30 seconds of light can transform an entire image. Travelled inland across some beautiful countryside to our accommodation. I immediately noticed this old slab hut and shed in the fields beside our accommodation. I knew that it would make for an interesting image if we had the right conditions. The wonderful old sheds have stood the test of time and had so much character sitting amongst the gum trees. The
following morning I was greeted by a thick mist and fog over the valley. Eventually the early morning light began to penetrate the scene before me and created some wonderful conditions. I had to work fast as the morning sun was stealing the atmosphere from my compositions, but not before I was able to capture these images. This image was my favourite from the morning. I used the arc of this branch to frame the shot. I also love the soft pastel light coming from the right and how the trees and fence balance the composition against the slab heart.
Welcome back everyone. It's my third location, my third country location, and I've come out to a location that's not that far from my home, and I'm at the old Woodbury Inn. This is actually a recreation of a building that was here in the 1800s, and it's been rebuilt. And when it gets a little bit lighter you'll see what I'm talking about, but it's a really nice country rural scene here, and got the old farmhouse with the windmill on the left hand side, set of trees on the right hand side. I just like this as a rural composition. It's one I've wanted to do for some time, so thought I'd pop out here this morning and give this one a go. Got a little bit of cloud in the background. I was hoping for a little bit more fog and mist this morning, but we haven't got that. So I'm just going to wait for it to get a little bit lighter, and then I'll come back and have a chat to you. I'll show you my composition when I'm fully set up. The composition I'm going for here this morning is actually, I've got a set of big gum trees on the right hand side of the frame. I've got the farmhouse and the water tank in the middle of my frame, and then I'm balancing out the image by having the old windmill right across on the left hand side. And it just really complements this whole scene with these nice tall grasses leading up towards the homestead. I'm just hoping I can get a little bit of light and a bit of colour in behind here and just light it up. As you can see at the moment, it's quite flat across the whole scene there. The sun's rising out here towards the east. Hopefully just after sunrise we'll get a little bit of light bleeding across here and lighting up some of this foreground grass and really complement the image. We've just got some nice gentle light just starting to hit the top of the actual homestead and the top of the trees here. Trees are moving around a little bit, but I'm not worried too much about it. I'm already up to 1/30th of a second shutter speed, and I don't really care if the windmill's got a bit of blur and a bit of motion blur. It's more about capturing the frame in front of me. Well, this is what I waited for all morning. Patience has paid off. We've got some really nice light now on the front of the cabin, the grass and the trees on the right hand side. And I'm going to take a couple more shots here, and then I'm going to move around and see if I can find some other compositions. Some nice light on the hut and the foreground here. I'm just going to move up this way a little bit more and pick out a composition that I was looking at earlier on and see if we can grab this image as well. Picked out another composition here, and I'm actually using the old fence rail as a leading line leading directly towards the hut, and then I've got the framing of the windmill on the left hand side and then the fence in the foreground, and then there's just the actual shape of these old trees. I really like this composition, and this will probably be my last composition for the morning because it's getting a little bit harsh here now, but nonetheless we didn't have a dramatic sky this morning. It was still great to come out and be able to photograph this homestead, and no doubt one day if I do get an epic sky I'd like to come back here and try this again because it is a really good location. guys, that completes this week's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget, go down below, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. If you're new to the channel and it's your first time here and you'd like to see more, don't forget to subscribe. Tap that notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload my next video. If you've got a comment or a question, leave them below. I'll always try and respond. Hopefully I'll be around shooting some more landscapes soon. I'll see you then.